Good morning. We're so glad that you're here joining us, and keep letting people gather, but maybe just open us up with a treatment.
Near you.
Oh. Well, before we open up a treatment, I think we should introduce who we're sitting next to. We are just delighted, overjoyed to have this moment with you right now. You just introduce who this amazing man is in our life. One, he married us.
Did. Under a beautiful oak tree.
Yes, a 300 oak tree that is very sacred to us.
Yes. It was one of my most beautiful weddings ever. That I've ever had the experience of being in.
Wow.
Just under that tree, and the two of you bring so much love to everything. It was just like, it's almost like overpowering, the love that was under that tree, right?
Yeah, totally. Great. And I love it because that tree is going to hold that forever.
Ever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a, for those of you who might have seen a picture, there's a picture Heather caught where I'm sitting in the tree meditating, and there's this ray of light just like beaming of a moment where I was toning, I think, at the time. But this is Dr. Reverend James Mellon.
Hello.
He is the spiritual director of the Global Truth Center, where Heather and I have lovingly served this community. I've been part of this community for about 8 years, I believe.
Yeah, right.
My son Jet has been raised in this community. This is where we sing and we give our heart and our service in multiple ways of our time, talent, and treasure.
Yes.
And it has just been an amazing journey. And so you're kind of like the man behind us that has mentored us, that has influenced our life. And it is an honor, honor to see.
And now I get to walk with you.
Yes.
Because truly, you both have grown so steadfastly, and you've evolved so perfectly as I've just watched and been a part of it, and now I get to benefit from who you are. Really.
It makes our hearts sing.
We do, and we have a deep love affair.
Yes, we do.
We do. There's just like such, the whole topic that we're going to discuss today, we've encapsulated it by what do you call the mission statement, vision statement of the Global Truth Center, which is love only, forgive everything, and remember who you are. And this statement has reminded us over and over again in moments where we couldn't quite remember.
Well, it's just the first one. It's a tall order. Love only, especially in today's society and with some of the things going on in the world. It's hard to remember to just love, only love.
And we're going to jump into that, but I think those of you that are here with us now, as I always say, and those who will be with us in your now, which is now, always now.
It's always now.
Jed actually did that. He at the center yesterday, he did a now clock, which was now on every.
Oh yes, I love that.
It's always now. So in this now, we're going to invite you just to drop into your heart space. And yes, James, would you offer just an invocation?
I would love to do that. So I'll invite everybody to just take a deep breath wherever you are. If you're driving, don't close your eyes, but just get very centered right where you are and recognize and realize that right where you are is the center of the universe. Because right where each one of us is, the entire universe is present. As Rumi says, we are the entire ocean in a drop. And so as we drop in here today on this beautiful, beautiful moment in time, when it is always now, we drop into that full presence, that this is a sacred place, this is a place of wisdom and knowing and allowing, and more importantly, this is a beautiful time to just surrender to whatever wants to come forward. And so I am so grateful for this. I just say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing you with me and me with you, and realizing that there's never really a me and a you, there's only a one. And so with that, I just relax, let it go, and let it be so. And so it is.
So it is.
So it is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now we're here.
You know, it's funny, just that tail end, because there was a conversation Heather and I were part of, and it's this idea of what we're seeing in our world today is a deeper opportunity to come into wholeness or to split and divide.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And we're seeing, our president now, who is polarizing people to a place, and not just here in the United States, but here in the world. But that's just one example. But this morning we were having a conversation that you wouldn't think, but it's about frequency. It's about, there's a certain frequency called 528, and there's a certain frequency called 432.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's two camps going, look, they're at war with each other, and they're who's right and who's wrong, and this is an ancient conversation that you see in all time.
Right.
Of you're right, I'm wrong, and this is why.
Doesn't matter what it is.
And it doesn't matter what it is. And I'm sitting there praying within, and who always speaks to me in magical, mystical ways is Michael Jackson. And it's true. And he came in with a song. I was taking Jeff to school this morning, and it was a song called "Another Part of Me."
I don't know that one.
I'll send you the lyrics, and we'll put it here in this. But it is that very thing. All the plans are lined up. There's no danger. There's no other.
No.
You're just another part of me.
Yeah.
And when I can see that and celebrate that oneness that we have, then the dissolution of separation just fades away.
Well, the entire problem, every problem comes down to people not knowing who they are, which is the third part of our vision statement. Remember who you are. If everyone remembered that they were part of everyone and that there was only one, imagine what the world would be like. It just would be a different place.
Yeah.
So I agree with you in those frequencies. And it's funny you said about Donald Trump being polarizing. I don't know that I believe that he is actually intentionally
Not him
polarizing.
Yeah, we
personally,
don't
no.
agree. Yeah.
I think that he is part of the endemic problem, which is that there is a consciousness that doesn't know who it is so clearly that it splits in two, and it becomes the other and then the thing itself.
Right.
And so when you walk around as good and evil, bad and good, God and the devil, whatever duality you want to create, when you walk around as that duality, you create divisiveness because you're going to come upon people like you who know that there's only one, and you're going to be like, well, that's not really the truth over there. And when you come around people that are fearful and angry and such, they're going to be going, well, that's just La La Land over there,
Right.
not the movie.
Right.
But
Right.
Oscar.
Yes, the Oscar.
Yeah,
Probably winning movie.
the Oscar.
Yeah.
He's an amazing talent and a Broadway.
Can we just
Mogul
unpack
as
who you
well,
are for a
yes.
second, please?
Sure, you can unpack it. Sure.
Come on. So, James J. Mellon, right? Just a little bit, just a snapshot. How did you come into being a doctor and a minister, and where did you come from?
Where'd you come from?
Where'd you come from, man?
I came from the heavens.
Yes.
Yes, you
Yes, you
did.
did.
Yes, I
Stars. You are a star.
Yes. So, Philadelphia.
Uh-huh.
Born in Philadelphia. I know you don't want me to go back that far.
Yeah.
But I will go very fast. Philadelphia, I wanted to be a priest. That was my trajectory. Priesthood. All the way through grade school. Going into high school, I got bit by the musical theater bug, and I started doing shows. But I still thought I'd be a priest. I would just maybe I would direct in the high schools or something, you know?
Okay.
And then I went to an all-boys Catholic college,
Mm-hmm.
and I studied theater. And then I found something called intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
And priesthood went out the window.
Right?
That's not going to work for me. So no more priesthood.
Right.
So,
A land of isolation
yes.
for you.
So I was like, oh, so theater.
Right.
So, but before I even got out of theater, I was snatched by New York and starred in a show in Town Hall in my junior year of college. And then once I got to New York, I was like, oh, why finish college? I'm already on the trajectory that most of these guys in college with me aren't even going to find.
Right.
So I left my junior year, starred in a Broadway show within a couple of years. Every time I say West Side Story, I starred in West Side Story. And then Chorus Line.
You mean you were a jet?
I was the jet.
You was the jet.
I was Riff.
Yes.
Yes, and I would do the dance.
Yes.
It's a small.
One funny story. When we early dawned in our relationship, you go, "What's your son, Jeff or Jeff?" I'm like, "No, James, Jet."
I remember that. I never forgot his name ever again.
Right.
He is a jet.
He is.
Yes. And I can snap that
Yes.
too. So, Broadway. I did show after show. I ended up playing Jesus in Jesus Christ Superstar.
Of course you did.
And that kind of changed me.
Mhm.
I went out and did it in Oklahoma City, of all places, with Kristen Chenoweth as one of the just little singers
Really?
behind me. Yeah. She was in the chorus that summer. And something happened. I was 33. when I played Jesus.
Wow. For those of you who understand 33 and Jesus, you will get this.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember just one night on stage singing Gethsemane. Gethsemane is the song that Jesus sings in the Garden of Gethsemane, saying, "Take this away from me. I don't want this. I don't want what I know is going to happen."
Right.
And I get very emotional when I talk about it. And I remember being on that stage, and there was a moment where I just felt like I was embodying Jesus, and I was feeling what he was feeling. And there were actors that were standing in the wings watching, and the actors that were laying asleep on stage were watching. And by the time I got to the end of it, the number was over, and I hadn't remembered doing it. And I was just like sobbing, and I had, and the audience is screaming, and I just sat there, and I was like, how do I reconcile what I just went through with them applauding me?
Wow.
Right.
And it was shortly after that, I went to LA in a show I wrote, heard Dr. David Walker speak, and I went, oh, that's it. I am God. I am that presence. There's only this.
You are the Christ.
I am the Christ. No wonder I channeled him.
Right.
I just tapped into me.
Yes.
I didn't tap into Jesus.
You
I tapped into me.
Into your seed.
Yes.
I know. So then I started studying Science of Mind, which is New Thought, Ancient Wisdom, and I started studying and still directing and producing and acting and writing movies, and I was signed by CAA, the biggest company in Los Angeles, biggest entertainment agency, and I just kept going until one day I'm sitting in church watching David speak, and I was like, and I saw me. And I turned to my husband, Kevin, and I said, I think I'm going to be a minister. And he was like, no, you're not. I said, we're not doing that to our life.
Right.
And I was like, no, I really think I want to be a minister. He was like, well, I will not be the minister's wife. Tell me right now, you're not. And that was that. And I went on the trajectory. But you know me. Right. Yes, I'm a minister, but I'm still an actor. I still write. I still direct. You cannot separate your passions.
No.
Right.
And tell one of them, you're going to have to wait because I'm going to do this instead. No, for me, I believe we can do it all and have it all. And not because of what we create, but because of who we are.
Yes. Thank you. You have been such a catalyst for us being comfortable with that, because we're such multifaceted beings, and our talents are so vast that somebody said to us recently, you can have it all, just not at the same time. And so a lot of times I think in our development we get so scattered and we don't focus on something, and so we can't bring who we are fully to the world. But there are seasons for all of it as we expand our consciousness.
Yes. And I think you can have it all at the same time if we stop paying attention to time as a linear thing.
Oh, good point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
good
point.
When I'm on stage talking, when I'm a minister, all that other stuff I'm still having at the exact same time.
Right.
And you bring it all. And you both bring it all every time you stand up. Whether you're DJing, whether you're singing or chanting, whether you're giving a lecture, whether you're sitting here, everything you are funnels into that. And then we enjoy it from that perspective. I mean, when you sing, you channel, I don't know, I wish I could pull up some old biblical figure out of my head, but Esther, you channel like Esther, if Esther could play the guitar.
Right, yes.
Which I don't know.
Liberator people.
Liberator
It's
queen.
probably a flute or some one of those.
Oh no, I don't think Esther played a harp or anything like that. She was a mighty woman.
Yeah.
But I do think, one of the things you stand for and I stand for is, and one of the things I think the world needs to really get is that they literally can have whatever experience of life they want.
Right. Yes.
The minute we're equal to it.
Right.
And people ask me all the time, what does that mean?
Right.
Being equal
What do
to
you mean
it? I think
equal?
you maybe even asked me one night in class, and I
Right.
was like, what is that?
Right.
And it's called the mental equivalent. And being equal to it, really it's just about when you remember who you are. Wouldn't we say God is equal to everything?
Yes.
Yes.
There's nothing God's not equal to.
I wanna talk more about that, but because we're talking about singing, I would love for us to sing
Kritajna.
Hum.
Yes.
This is a chant that we're doing around town.
Around town.
Yeah,
It sounds like we're getting around.
We're getting around.
On the subway stop, right
Right.
outside of Disney Hall.
I think we'll probably be singing this at Full Circle next week. But this is Kritajna Hum. you've probably done it for one of our broadcasts here, I believe, but this is Kritajnaham means I am gratitude, and Anandaham is I am bliss. And you know Ananda is a very special place, special name, special frequency for you in that space of bliss. And you know what, so let's do it,
Yeah.
Kritajnaham,
Kritajnaham, Anandaham,
Kritajnaham,
Kritajnaham, Kritajnaham, Anandaham,
Kritajnaham, Kritajnaham,
Kritajnaham, Anandaham,
Kritajnaham,
Kritajnaham, Kritajnaham, Anandaham, Kritajnaham. I am blessed, I am sustained in the everlasting way. I am blessed, I am sustained in the everlasting way. Kritajnaham, 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 Anandaham,
Anandaham,
Kritajnaham, 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 Anandaham,
Kritajnaham.
I am blessed, I am sustained in the everlasting way. I am blessed, I am sustained in the everlasting way. I am blessed, I am sustained in the everlasting way. Oh, I am blessed, I am sustained in the everlasting way. Kritajnaham,
I'm gratitude.
Kritajnaham,
I'm gratitude.
Anandaham,
I'm bliss.
Kritajnaham,
I'm gratitude.
Kritajnaham,
I'm gratitude.
Kritajnaham,
I'm gratitude.
Anandaham,
I'm bliss. That deserves a tone. Thank you.
So good, thank you.
Can I just tell you, I love this form we've created.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's like, it feels like there's this like slice of divine energy that just like
It
pops up
Is
between Monday and
organic.
11:11.
Yes.
I love it.
You know, and we just started building it. I know that what this is because we have created a mental equivalent. We believe the message of one love and gratitude needs to spread to the universe,
Yep.
to give power, to activate, to elevate, to inspire people to love only, to remember who they are, to forgive, to, you know, that one love consciousness,
Yep.
Christ consciousness,
Yep.
Buddha consciousness.
It's all this, yeah, it's that, they're all the same.
Right.
That's what I love about who we are, the Global Truth Center. I love the idea that we understand
Mm-hmm.
Christian, Muslim, Jewish, Hindu,
Yes.
Baha'i, you know, whatever religion.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing.
Yes, and the
And-
union. It's in this conversation we were having earlier this morning. It was just so funny. It's sometimes the contrast. Then when we see something so much clearer on the other side, it's like until we have union in ourselves and with each other, nothing moves forward, and we keep perpetuating the same experience over and over again.
Right.
So we're going to keep out picturing this kind of a leader if that's what we're feeling, the conflict
Yes.
and the resistance inside of ourselves and with each other.
And I think there's good to be had even with this kind of leader.
Absolutely.
Because I don't believe we ever evolve anywhere, in any direction other than forward.
Yes.
And I don't think we ever evolve into anything other than good.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know why this particular moment in time was called forth. I don't know why the Christians killing the Muslims back in the olden
Crusades,
days, back in the
yes.
Crusades. I don't know why that time was called forward. But it's interesting to me. the Christians killed the Muslims. Now they think the Muslims are killing the Christians, but it's not.
No.
There's just this group that's discontented or that misunderstands even the Quran. Or there was a group that misunderstands the Bible or Jesus.
Absolutely.
So whatever's coming forth, I think, is a cleansing.
Totally. I think it's those times too in our own journey when there is so much pressure, when things are pressurized and cause us to go inside for an answer that hasn't come forth yet. And I think that's where we are as a planet, is it something bigger than we have experienced is trying to emerge. And just like with birth, any other situation that is going through a canal, it squeezes out until there's a burst of light. But that process is so necessary to...
And it's painful, wasn't it?
It's painful, it's messy, it's dark, it's chaotic.
I mean, how many children have you had?
2.
You did it twice.
I did do it twice.
We just will never know that. I passed a kidney stone and they say it's similar, but probably not quite as difficult.
We are being birthed into something new, for sure.
And it's interesting as soon as you said birth, because I'm sitting here thinking about the pro-life women's choice thing, which is interesting because, and I say this I know it causes problems when I say it sometimes, even in my own household, because my husband's like, you can't even say that. But I am pro-life, but I'm also pro-choice.
Yes, we agree with that 100%.
And I believe you can be that. I don't think abortion should be used as a contraception. I don't think people should be irresponsible and then have that as their, oh well, I guess I'll just do this. I'm for life. I'm pro-life. But it's interesting because, we're talking about the Christians or the Muslims or who's misunderstanding the teaching. Look at the people that are blowing up abortion clinics. In the name of Jesus. It's still murder. You don't murder because you think something's being murdered. So that's what stuff like we're doing. The things like this are so important because the more we put our consciousness on love, the more love shows up.
It was interesting during the election, you saw this huge sign on the crane outside the White House that said resistance. Right? And there are certain conversations and certain groups that we're connected to that are spending a lot of time, a lot of mental, spiritual, emotional energy on resist. And Jesus the Christ, I believe, said, resist not evil. Don't resist, because what you resist persists. What you push against pushes against you. This is just the law. It's it's just what happens. And so I know our journey is don't even focus on that. Focus on, it's what Mother Teresa said, right? Don't tell me what you're against. Tell me what you're for, and build that. Put your energy and time and all that into building the new.
Yeah, well, that's what Ernest Holmes said. And for those of you who don't know, Ernest Holmes wrote a book called The Science of Mind and Spirit back in 1926 when he said there is a new philosophy emerging. That was almost 100 years ago. Emerge already.
Here we are.
Yeah. It's like, God, he said it. But then again, Jesus said it.
Yes.
2,000 years ago. For God's sake, let's listen to what he said. But Ernest Holmes said, show me a man who is for something and against nothing, and I will show you the next Jesus.
Yes.
And that's it.
That is it.
You can be for something and against nothing.
Yes.
I can be for love and not spend my time, as you just said, I'm not going to spend my energy over here in the discontent, camp. I'm not, because that just builds more discontent. I'm going to stay over here in the love camp, and I will still march.
Yes.
And I will still put my name where I need to put it. And I will still stand up for what I believe needs to be stand up for.
Cue Sade, Soldier of Love, please. Thank you.
That's coming. You'll be able to do that eventually.
So
I see this as a big thing.
Yeah. I have a question. So when we're creating a mental equivalent, I want to unpack that a little bit because I think it's a place where a lot of people get confused because they're hearing that. They hear the words of that, but don't know that there's a process of unraveling old systems, old ways of thinking, old wounds, old things that keep us trapped in order to create a mental equivalent. And it seems like it's a spiral upwards that we take because we're always letting go of beliefs that don't serve us any longer. So will you unpack that a little bit?
I will. Well, you've done mental muscle. Yeah, but you have not done mental muscle.
You wrote a book. There's an amazing book. I think, can you get it on Amazon?
You can get it on Amazon.
Mental Muscle.
Yes, and that's what it's all about. It's 16 weeks of mental boot camp. So it's 16 weeks, which you need a lot more time, but the 16 weeks is a great beginning to unpack and literally uproot core beliefs that are driving your life in a direction you don't want it to go. These core beliefs come, I'm 62 years old, so I've had 62 years of building core beliefs.
Right.
You build them when you're a young child, and then you build them in adolescence, and you do get a chance during those times to uproot things. I mean, how many kids literally go against their parents? Lots. Many. They have to step out on their own. My own son, he's like all for, he doesn't believe in gun control. He has an NRA sticker on his car. I had to take it off. Only because it's my car.
Right.
Now I was like, I'm not driving that around. But he has his own mind. So these core beliefs come along and you start questioning them, but for the most part, they get in there and they just stay. And you don't even know. Suddenly you're a 40-year-old man and you're like, why am I still having financial problems? Why can't I find a soulmate? Why don't I do the things I love to do? Why? Well, because there's core beliefs in there that are telling you you can't, or that you're not worthy.
Right.
I grew up in the Catholic Church. Every single day I said, "Oh Lord, I am not worthy to receive you." Now the other half of that is where I should have put my focus. Oh Lord, I am not worthy to receive you, but only speak the word, and my soul shall be healed.
Yes.
Now that's a better part of Catholicism.
Yes.
Speak the word. The word has been spoken, and you are healed. Get on
So
with
it
it.
is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Walk like it.
Yeah. So you have to be willing to ask yourself, and what I say is back it up. This is what's going on in my life. Back it up. Why? What do I believe that's causing me? So if it's money, which is a big issue for many people, if it's money, what are your beliefs around money? Well, you may believe there's not enough in the world. You may believe money's hard to get. You may believe some get and some don't. You may believe so many different things about money that you can have it, but you'll always lose it.
Right.
Or you may believe, as most people believe, there's an ebb and flow to money and you just have to deal with it. Well, no, there's not. There is prosperity.
Yes.
It is your divine right, and you get to be prosperity. You get to be prosperity.
Right.
And if you're willing to be that, you got to let go of all those other beliefs. That's called a mental equivalent. Because right now, all of these beliefs about money are running the show. And so we show up as lack.
You know, and on that, I just have to say this because I wanted to go back to mental equivalent as well, because James, you were there in the dissolving of my previous relationship to the mother of my beautiful boy, who I honor, and I don't ever call her, I never call her my ex-wife, because it's not the way I look at it. I honor her, we're friends, we're a team together, but you held such a space for us. I remember you said, in 4 sessions, you're going to know whether you have something or not, and you walked through, and that dissolved, you helped us move through a peaceful dissolving.
Yep.
And I knew in our, you were part of my training to become a practitioner, and that idea of mental equivalent, I got the idea that I knew what good was, I knew what good felt, I knew what I was calling for in a relationship. And I started this thing called treatment, and I started really going, okay, it's either going to be Jody, or it's going to dissolve and it's going to make room for this beloved here. And I created a mental equivalent of what I was good for and what our life was for. And today we're starting our 6-week course of...
Oh, yes.
Does
that start today?
Tonight.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You know, that our life has taken us to China, our life has taken us to Peru, our life has taken us to Kauai, living a life of dharma, of purpose, of passion. But it did. It started with an idea. It started with a mental. We have a dear friend of ours that says, the universe is mental. This is a mental field. Right. And it corresponds and responds to that which we say, I am equal to. I am that. I am that. I'm equal to that emotionally. I can feel into that. And though it may not be tomorrow, but I know it's coming.
Yeah.
Because I know that that's my good. And my good is guaranteed. As I say, as the word is, it's done.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's saying yes to all that. And to all the rest. So there's the work.
Yes.
Yeah.
The more you speak your truth, this kind of dissipates. But I call them mixed messages. we give the universe mixed messages.
So true.
I am all of this, I am all of this, and then in the shadows of your mind you're also thinking, oh, but sometimes I'm not.
Right.
So the universe is saying, how would you like me to address this?
Right. I'm going to give you both.
I'm going to give you both. Thus the ebb and flow.
Yes, and that is the journey that we're going to take people on. Is that because it is, you know, I did in all transparency and honesty said, I know what I'm equal to,
Yep.
but I don't trust love. I trust love. But I don't trust love. And so there is a dance that we do because of distrust.
Right.
You know, that we've been able to mirror where it is that we don't fully trust love.
And I think I remember you saying something to the effect of, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think I'm ever going to need to get married again.
Right.
I've done that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ha!
I did it twice.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, well,
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing is, and going back to our influencer in our life is Ernest Holmes, who always said, "Stay open at the top."
absolutely. That's what I was just going to say.
Right,
that.
of course you are.
You are open.
Yeah.
And to talk about those sessions with you and Jody, you know, because I remember them vividly. I get my best work done when I have two people who are willing to be honest, transparent, and be open to whatever needs to happen. And what you're about to journey into tonight, you know, I put on my Facebook page that I couldn't think of two better people to take people on this journey.
We were so humbled by that.
And I mean it. I don't write things casually or haphazardly. I mean it. And mostly because of that journey you took. I watched you go through that journey. I watched you and Jody, who I also love and is a beautiful soul. I watched these two people disassemble their marriage in order to reassemble their lives.
Right.
And in a loving, respectful way that did not impact the child at the center of this marriage, in such a way that he is even more full and more loved because more love came into his life. You know, so
You're gonna make me cry.
and you're about to step into this tonight and tell people how to do that, how to do that kind of thing, how to get closer, how to say, this is not really what serves me. I'm going to be open to what's next.
Yeah, it's been such an amazing gift to have the relationship with the three of us, with Jody and Jason and I, well, the four of us. We're a quadrant of there's this, we've had to demonstrate oneness in yet another place, and that's really what relationship is all about. It's like, how do we meet in a place where we see the higher love calling all of us together? Because we're not always going to see life the same way, because our experiences, our life experiences are different. And so we make a fractal pattern that is so vast, and we get threatened by that, but we can trust that love is always pulling us forward.
Yes, and if we remember that. And you know, I have my own issue with parenting. I have twin, now 17-year-olds, almost 8, I mean, they're 17 and a half now.
Amazing.
6 more months. And,
Wow.
Oh my God. But, you know, my husband and I raised them with a lesbian couple, 2 moms, 2 dads, and it was not easy. It was very difficult, and I learned one of the biggest lessons of my life when so much turmoil was going on, but the children were at the center of it in a positive way, so that none of that went this way.
Right.
It was up here with us. I went to my mentor at the time, Dr. David Walker, and I asked for a treatment. I said, I need help. I need help. I really want to stay in love. I want to stay in a positive side of this. I want to stay in a place where my daughter and my son, my husband, and the mothers of my children, that they are all served. And David looked at me and he went, well, I see the problem. He said, you're missing someone in that equation. He said, yourself. He said, you are so focused on making sure everyone is okay that you're taking it all on. He said, now, I'm going to suggest you get clear first. You get settled first. You care about you as the number one. And then watch what happens. I've never, ever backed down from that now.
That is such a strong message, because there's, when we're truly minding ourself first, it's not selfishness.
No.
It's really knowing ourselves in order to show up clearly for everyone. I mean, we've learned that just even in our business life lately. We were giving to build everyone else's empires.
Yes.
And neglecting the time that really and work that needed to go and to invest in ourselves.
Yep.
And I think part of that was a real growth place for us, is because we realized we are worth it.
Oh my God, yes.
And that was a shift in our mental equivalent, and it's showing up that way.
And how much good can you do in the world if you're deficient?
Right.
If you're not taking care of yourself.
Right. Yeah.
I'm you know, my husband wrote me a letter once, and it was called The Power of No. Because he said you never say no to anyone. He said, you are being pulled in 1,000 different directions. You never say no. And he wrote me this beautiful letter about how it's okay to say no.
Right.
And at the end, he said, you know, every time you say no to something, remember you're saying yes to yourself.
Yes.
And I was like, and you know Kevin. Kevin's a bit passionate.
Yes.
I'll use that word. He's very passionate. So reading this from the center of his heart, it was like, and I have it in my address book, that who uses an address book anymore, but it's always in my desk. It's right there. If I ever need to open it up and read it, there it is. I read it.
Such a powerful reminder. That's huge. We get
so you excited about tonight?
We are.
excited,
we are. This is just the beginning. I mean, really, what's come through, how Spirit has orchestrated. This is just the beginning. I mean,
that's great.
It is. You know, it's just the beginning. We see a book. We see just
very quickly this year the book will be done.
And it doesn't hurt that the two of you are like two of the more gorgeous people on the earth.
Oh man!
No, really. I'm looking at some of these headshots and pictures you guys are taking. They may not even be headshots. I think the camera just shoots you perfectly, and they just look so. Who doesn't want that?
Well, we
you
just
have
want
everything.
We want to inspire people to believe, because I truly, and I say this all the time, what the world needs now is love, pure love.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We all have an idea of what love is. But love is being called to be purified. And we've been in the fires of purification, removing the debris, you know, as gold is refined by the fires. You know, these idea of twin flame, you know, the flames of Spirit has called us. And our life is bent on love. It's bent on, you know, I say consecration to the divine. There's a Latin phrase, non nobis domine, not my will, but your will.
Yeah.
Love.
Not my will, but thy will be done.
Thy will be done. You know, our life is not for our individualized self. And so...
And I just want to clarify that for anybody who's listening, because there is that concept, not my will, but thine. And it's not a God or anything outside of you. You know you are the God presence. And when you are clear about that energy that is running through you, you know what the will is. You know what is right for your life. And then you can show up in service freely and give your yeses and your no's freely.
I love that you just said that, because of course I was about to say it. And then you said it. And what I love about that is that you come from such a Christian background. So the paradigm you've had to jump over. The paradigm shift from Jesus, your personal Savior, to Heather, your personal God.
Yeah.
That's an amazing paradigm and brilliant. And what you just said is absolutely right. Because whenever you hear, not my will, but thy will be done, you can all of a sudden turn into a victim.
Totally.
Well, if God's will is that I suffer, then I suffer.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not that.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
And the truth is, the Christ is the Savior. But it's not in the way that we've been taught.
So how is it?
So this is, I mean, I think you're writing a book called, you have an intention.
The title keeps changing because I don't want to insult the Christian world.
Right, but there is this idea.
It's called Saving Jesus.
Right, it's basically just that, and we talk about this a lot. We had to lose Jesus to gain Christ, to come back and go, look, the Jesus of our upbringing, we knew there was something to that. There is a pathway, but it's, you know, not to the lesser of ourselves, to, you know, it is to, I am that. I am equal to this. This was a way shower, a messenger. And so our bridge is to those who are waking up on that grid point of the Christ. What does that mean? And
I love Jesus.
Yes, we do too.
You know, I just taught my last ministerial class. Not my last one, but my last ministerial class I taught. We ended up doing our service. We were up at this Catholic retreat. Were you at Casa de Maria with us?
I haven't.
It's beautiful, Casa de Maria. So we got the big chapel.
That's the home of Mary, right?
Yes, apparently. House of Mary. House of Maria. House of Mary, yes. Yeah, it's a gay play. No. All Marys are right. No, so we're doing this thing, and I'm standing looking at the ministers that are about to be paneled, and I asked them, please, I want you to bring into your consciousness all of your mentors, all of your teachers. Let's bring forth all of those influences in your life, and take a deep breath and just allow that truth to come through you. Know that you've been influenced by thousands and thousands of years of truth.
Yeah.
And I was standing there, and I thought, I'm going to do the same thing, because I gave him 5 minutes, piano music's playing. And I was like, let me go, David Walker. And I just turned, and as I turned, there was a gigantic crucifix that I had not really paid attention to with Jesus on it. And it went through me like a lightning bolt. And I went, that is my most profound influence.
Yes.
Everything else comes from that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was bowled over.
Yes.
I was like, I could barely speak.
Right.
Because we forget.
That is what we have in
We throw
common.
out the Jesus with the bathwater.
We do.
With the religion.
We totally do.
Yeah.
I think that's the common thread that we have. There are different frequencies, there's different signatures. You know, there's the Buddhic presence, right? Which it's all the same thing, but it's interesting because the paradigms that we grew up in, the Jesus story, the message, the way that he showed love, the way that he demonstrated showing love to the point of not even just physical death, but being willing to be misunderstood to such a large degree and still holding the presence of love and saying, forgive them, they don't know what they're doing, which brings us back to the love only.
Yes.
Forgive everything. That's how you remember who you are. Because every time you choose it, you remember a little bit more of your true divine essence.
Especially when you feel what that feels like. I always I say the opposite. I say, if you remember who you are, love only and forgive everything already handled.
Yeah.
Because once you remember who you are, there's nothing to forgive.
Right.
And all you do is love.
Yeah.
But you're right the other way too. Forgive everything. Okay, we talked about love only. Tall order, and can be difficult for some people. Forgive everything.
Yeah.
People are like, wait a minute.
No,
I'm willing to forgive everything, but not her.
Right.
Not you, of course.
Right.
Not Aunt Sadie.
Right.
Because she was mean to me.
Right.
You know, and it has to be everything. Every single thing you leave in your mind unforgiven is doing some damage to you.
Yes. Don't you find that these things are a practice too? Because every time you choose to be love in a situation where it's hard to do it, every time you decide to forgive, which it's not just saying I forgive you but I won't forget, it's letting go and recognizing that they don't understand, just like you haven't understood. Every time it creates a new opening for you to remember a little bit more.
Yes.
It's like more love comes rushing in by your choice.
And I think when people say, I will forgive, but I will not forget, it's because they're just holding on to a little bit of the unforgiven energy. I don't think we ever forget. I just don't think we forget.
Right.
So I still think we'll make smart choices. I mean, I can forgive you, Heather, and I can release myself from whatever that was. Not that this is all made up, by the way. We don't have anything. We have nothing but love. but if there's someone and I say, and I really do forgive them, and I let it go, I'm still not going to make a bad choice going forward.
Right.
If this person hasn't really forgiven, or is still a negative energy, I'm going to feel that and make a choice not to be a part of that.
Yes.
Doesn't mean I haven't forgiven.
Right.
It's just that.
That's discernment.
Yes, and we have to be divinely discerning.
Right. You can forgive them, but you don't have to have them over for dinner. Right.
Should I say that all
Yeah.
the time?
What do you say?
I treat for their highest and furthest. Yes.
So good. I mean, I think there's just so much we can unpack.
I say here now. I say we do this again.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
again.
I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Have we done that? Is this an hour? Have we talked?
I don't know.
How long do you go for?
We usually, it's organic. It's usually anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
But
I have no idea what time
I
it is.
have no idea. It's now. That's what I know.
12 o'clock.
Wow.
Almost.
Right.
Wow, yeah, it's just there's an
Flew
alarm
by.
bell that goes off inside of us, and we're like, okay.
I do want to just acknowledge today, and I could be mistaken, but I did see it. I believe it's Bob Marley's birthday today. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's One Love Day. So
We're gonna call it that anyways.
Yeah, we're just gonna call
no
it
matter
that.
what.
Yeah, exactly.
but just, I know that my intention, our intention is that in the chaotic birthing of something new. I mean, they talk about the end times, the end days. I believe we're at the end of an age, an end of a time. And death is not pretty, no matter how it goes. And birth is not pretty, however it goes. It is a chaotic emergent of something new. And our intention is that these conversations are beacons of inspiration, of beacons of hope. I know hope is one of these words that you're like, I don't like hope, but hope is one of those places that when people are in despair and they're in discouragement.
That's the first, that's the next, that's the only place they can get to.
Right.
I agree with that.
And death is a birth, it's a cycle. There's always death, and there's something new that comes out of every death that we experience.
Absolutely.
And so it's necessary. It's the cycle of life.
And Emerson says that, when Emerson teaches the 5 kingdoms, and the 5 kingdoms are the way we experience consciousness. And mankind...
Emerson or Troward?
It's Emerson.
Okay.
Now you have me thinking.
I think it's Troward because
might
we were
be
in the
Troward.
class
Oh my
with
God,
you.
it is Troward.
I'm a good student, my
Good
friend.
for you. So Troward, when he
Yeah.
talks about the 5 kingdoms, we get to the 4th kingdom, and that's self-consciousness. And we're aware of ourselves. And we're aware of one another. And we're aware of what we think and what we believe. But there's the 5th kingdom. And when we hit the 5th kingdom, we are suddenly aware of our oneness.
Yes.
So right now, I believe the universe is straddling those 2 kingdoms. And we're being birthed into this 5th kingdom. Well, there's a lot of people that do not want to be one with a lot of people.
Right.
So you got to just feel them scratching and clawing and really trying to keep us at this 4th kingdom, which is more of a me generation. It's all about me, just me. And you are you and I am me, and we are separate. But you know what? When birth starts to happen, when the child starts coming, the mother can do all she wants to stop that from happening.
But it's coming.
It's coming, and it's going to come out.
And you can either resist
You
or
can make
you
it a
can
beautiful
breathe through
experience.
it.
Yes.
You know, we talk about in our circles, we call it the ascension. There's an ascension happening, right? The same thing. That you can go kicking or screaming, being dragged, or you can just walk with the current, walk with the flow, and be in alignment and attunement, at one-ment with this divine energy, with it's coming through. And we are being birthed, and I celebrate that.
And you know what you two are? I am too. You know what we are? We're
The
those...
Trinity?
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Yes. No, we are the midwives.
Yeah.
We're willing to stand alongside and say, all right, let it go. Let it go. Come on, just breathe. Let it go. Because what you're going to get at the other end is this brand new life.
Yes.
So I would love, one of the things that came into my awareness when I was thinking about this conversation, a lot of the services, we come into this contemplative space where we go into silence, into this golden space of stillness. And so I just want to invite you, if this conversation has inspired you, if there's questions, or if there's even, something on your heart that's heavy, come into this place of stillness. And I would love for you to guide us, lead us into it. Like just
You're going to join me at some point?
We're going to join you,
Of course,
absolutely. So just a little bit of stillness. Thank you so much for just being with this journey as long as you have, no matter what time you watch this. And I pray that this has encouraged you. Look up the Global Truth Center. What's the website again?
www.globaltruthcenter.org.
.org, right?
Yeah.
And look up James Mellon and look up his books and things, and just get, he has many things to help and inspire. Core Prosperity Relief helped us so many times. So let's just...
There'll be more of this for sure.
Yes, okay. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release. As my heart opens up to the voice, I awake to these presence precious moments when I hear all that could ever be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God. Oh, I find God. I find myself.
Right where you are, right where we are, we are. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you, James.
Thank you for asking me. It's been a brilliant beginning to my week.
We love you more today
than yesterday.
Yes.
Infinitely.
All right.
Love
Stay
you guys.
tuned. Karma to Dharma starts tonight.
Yes.
You know, and there'll be a next train leading the dock in April.
There will, and you can go to oneloveandgratitude.com, O-N-E, and gratitude.com, and if you want information on Karma to Dharma, you can go to the specific page there and find out all about it, and then there's an events calendar, catch up with where we're at. We're going to be in your neck of the woods soon, so.
All right. Bye.